And to the genuine ones only, not your genuine love, respect. I hope all is well on your end. Have a safe day. Have a safe weekend. Protect your energy, because not everybody's ever your time. To the genuine ones only. You know, regardless to what trauma you endured from a child point of view, going into your adulthood, doesn't give you the right to think you can control somebody or manipulate somebody and disrespect somebody and have controlling issues and have a hand problem just because of your upbringing. Because maybe you were sexually assaulted as a child, or you saw violence going on within your household, or you saw domestic disputes within your household, domestic disputes within your household against family members or your guardians or toxic people, or things you saw as you was being brought up from a child point of view. And you dealt with trauma on top of trauma as it went into your adulthood. Violence, domestic violence. You put a name to your book. You know, regardless to what trauma you endured at the end of the day, when it comes to an innocent person, it should be no reason why you should be intimidated that someone is elevating, becoming a best self vision. You shouldn't be intimidated or jealous of the fact that someone wants better for their life. You shouldn't be intimidated or jealous that someone has more confidence than you do to yourself. Or you don't have confidence at all within yourself. Or you have a self-esteem problem within yourself. You know, it's no competition when getting in tune with yourself. And I say this respectfully. It's no need to sit there and disrespect your neighbor because you don't understand and respect yourself today. Or you feel like somebody should be below you and you're hating on them because they have this and they have that. Or they may not have what you have. Just like, for instance, somebody may walk every single day and you may have a car. Or it could be a vice versa situation. Either they do have a car or they don't have a car. Why are you still intimidated by a person that does have a car and that doesn't have a car? It doesn't make sense. A person could walk around and just love themselves for who they truly are without the money in their pocket. And I say that respectfully. And you still intimidated by them. It's the thought process for me. A person could have lint in their pockets and you still would be intimidated and threatened by them. Why? It's the thought process for me. And then not only that, but then you have malicious intentions. When you start to have malicious intentions, it's a thought process for me. Because now you need a whole straight body jacket. Because there should be no reason that it should go that far. You being a hate in disguise at the end of the day to bring harm towards an innocent person. Respectfully. Like you want a job site or whatever the case may be. Regardless if you're a male or a female. A person just started a job today and they got the manager position and you've been there for 10 years. It should be no reason why you hating on the next person because they came in the door and that boss saw potential status as them being a boss status. And I say that respectfully. It shouldn't matter their sexual orientation at the end of the day. If they could get the job done and that person felt like they were obligated to complete the duties of the job at the end of the day, why are you so threatened and intimidated at the end of the day? It must be something that you're not doing right. That job opportunity was not for you for all the right reasons. Because at the end of the day, not everybody is boss status quality. And I say that respectfully. You barely want to come into work as is. So what makes you think, and you slacking within your job, what makes you think your boss is going to hire you as a manager at the end of the day so you can mess up their establishment? It's a thought process to me. I never understood it. Like, it doesn't matter if your sexual orientation, your culture, the color of your skin, a person will feel intimidated and threatened by you as soon as you walk in the door. You could be on a job site for 2 weeks and you threaten at the fact that somebody that came in with no skills at all can do your job better than you. No college degree, maybe not even a high school diploma. Who knows? You put a name to your book. How you could walk into a door and take somebody's position and not mean to take their position. Evidently, it wasn't your position from the beginning. No need to be a hater because someone has qualities within them to do a job that you cannot execute. And I say that respectfully. It should be no reason why you in competition with your neighbor at the end of the day. If you apply for a job, and I say this respectfully, because when you say you grown, you need to mean what you say and say what you mean, not act your shoe size. You're supposed to be acting like your body weight. And I say that respectfully because people get the game all messed up. It be the thought process for me. How somebody can come into a job establishment and fill out an application and put false narrative information on his documentation of the description as to who you are. And you're telling your boss, this is what your job you're going to fulfill. And then you start to slack within the job and not do your job as you're supposed to show up every single day to do. You're late. You got excuses for excuses why you can't show up for yourself. But then you want a certain position within a job. But then get mad when somebody comes in and steps in and does an actual job duty better than you. And you're being overlooked and someone's being reviewed in a good way. They didn't have to sleep with nobody to get a position. They didn't have to do nothing like that in no toxic way. They didn't have to kiss nobody behind just to get a position because the boss or the CEO saw potential. They saw potential in somebody that could actually succeed within their community and within their company. And I say that respectfully. It's a difference. When you fill out an application, you need to mean what you say and say what you mean and be true to yourself. That you're going to do the job, not half-ass do the job, respectfully. It's the thought process for me. Then you sitting there getting mad and you're intimidated by somebody. And then you're sitting there disrespecting them about their sexual orientation or their culture. Oh, that's why they got picked. Oh, that's why. And then it be the thought process for me. How people are so messy out here at the end of the day. They see that you got qualities within qualities of showing up for yourself. That they would sit here and talk bad on your name just to get you fired. Or they would sit here and talk bad on your name just to paint a picture of their description of the lie that they're telling as a description as to who you're not. Just to make themselves feel better at the end of the day. Because they don't want you to get the position that's being offered for a new position that's on the table. They will lie to people just to get people to go against you because they don't want you to get that position. So now, they talking about, oh, I wouldn't want a female to take my spot. I wouldn't want a youngin to come in and take my spot. It be the thought process for me. Because you wouldn't want nobody to say that to your family members that's supposed to be getting up every single day to provide and not to be in depression and being stressed at the end of the day. Neighbor, it be the thought process for me. How your neighbor go against you at the end of the day, regardless of your sexual orientation, the color of your skin. It don't matter. If you're a male or a female at the end of the day, respect is a two-way street. And just because of what you was brought up and seeing, disrespect, you don't need to fake gas like that paperwork at the end of the day. Mean what you say and say what you mean. Because at the end of the day, you only playing in your own face, respectfully. Because that tastes of karma. The way you eat it today, the way it's going to be dished out to you, it would never be dished out the way you dish it out. And I say that respectfully, especially when somebody don't got to wish bad on you. And especially when you was having third-party conversations about a child of God. And I say that respectfully, a child of God. You try to get into the lane of a child of God that's supposed to be elevating. You thought you was stopping a flow? You can never stop a flow of a genuine child of God. And I say that respectfully. The genuine child of God that don't shake with the enemy, don't shake with the bad God, they only shake with the good God. The good God, the good God that allows them to become their best self-vision of themselves, to elevate and understand the trauma that they endured and they healed, and they ain't got to fake gaslight nobody, because they genuinely have peace with themselves, and they trying to have balance within it to become their best self-vision of themselves, and they ain't got to step on nobody's toes at the end of the day to prove a point, because what's for them will be truly for them, and I say that respectfully. It's the thought process for me. It's the thought process for me. How a hate in disguise will try to see you not elevate. But they will be quick to bash you. They're so quick to bash you when they always take the person's kindness for weakness. and they play in the wrong person's face today. It be the thought process for me. You go to the barber shop. You know, straight females go to the barber shop too. That's what I thought. They cut their hair too. It be the thought process for me. Why is it that everybody is labeled the same in the same category? Everybody is not labeled in the same category. Because if that was the case, straight people should be labeled in the same category too when it comes to pedophiles and when it comes to abuse and all this. Ain't nobody pointing a finger until you actually commit a crime. And I say that respectfully. So I could respect my neighbor, and my neighbor could respect me too. My neighbor don't gotta like me, but I know how to respect my neighbor, and my neighbor knows how to respect me too. It takes a village to raise a child, and it also takes a community to respect each other and be at peace. It should be no reason why, regardless of your sexual orientation at the end of the day, you go into a barber shop, right? A place of business, a place where the community supposed to feel safe, a safe place where they're spending money. They're not asking for a free haircut. You're tending to a consumer right now, right? Your place of business at the end of the day. You need to have a sign up that says that you do not want to deal with people that you do not like, and be specific as to what kind of people you don't want in your establishment. And I say that respectfully because what you do is you create a name for yourself when you least expect it, for a bad reputation on yourself. To play in your own face when you disrespect the right person, a child of God that was respecting you when they came to your service. When they asked for your service, they came to respect you, and you disrespected them in the process. Why? Why? Why go against your neighbor? I'm pretty sure at the end of the day, you have relatives in your family that get haircuts too, that may be females, or they may, they sexuality, regardless of their sexuality or not at the end of the day. You may have family members, you may have friends. Why you gotta point out who you want to manipulate or who you want to bother and come and try to bring them out of character at the end of the day? Because of the fact that you are intimidated by their presence. You are threatened by who they are. They come to get a service at the end of the day, and you're disrespecting them. And they go to somewhere else, a place of business, to be a consumer, and they get respect. It be the thought process for me. But you quick to cry when your business go out of service. You're gonna be quick to cry. It be the thought process for me. You see how you play in your own face? It should be, it's called respect at the end of the day. And I say that respectfully. When you open an establishment, you got to be specific as to who you want in your establishment. If you don't want to deal with people who like the same sex, you need to put a sign on your door. Do not enter my establishment. People will respect you more if you do such a thing. And I say that respectfully, instead of disrespecting them in their face and making them feel uncomfortable or allow them to feel that they're unworthy when they never disrespected you in no shape or form. I can understand if a person went back and forth with you with words, tried to bring harm towards you, but they never did no such thing. It be the thought process for me. How y'all quick to disrespect the consumer, but the consumer is bringing you business. But then you quick to disrespect the consumer when you don't get your way. So you can make yourself feel comfortable. And the first thing you say is your place of business. So since it's your place of business, you need to put a sign up and be specific as to what people you want in your establishment. And I say that respectfully because the disrespect is real. It's not called for at the end of the day. And just because at the end of the day, you may treat one person a certain kind of way, don't mean you have not treated other people disrespectfully and poorly. Because at the end of the day, regardless of how high of a status you think you are at the end of the day, always remember, when you disrespect somebody, you play in somebody's face at the end of the day, you're only playing in your own face. You're only playing in your own face, and especially when you play in a child of God's face. And I say that respectfully. It shouldn't matter if someone's sexual orientation, a place of business, service. If you don't want to service them, just say, can you please, I don't want to service you. You ain't got to go back and forth with words with somebody. You see how that went? The person will understand and respect you more. Because not everybody's confrontational. Not everybody's disrespectful. And I say that respectfully. Not everybody wants to go back and forth with you with words. But it be the thought process of me. But when somebody sticks up for themselves and stands up for themselves because you're being wrong, when you manipulate someone's character for something that they truly not, now that's wrong. That's completely wrong. That's wrong. Or because you're intimidated about who they are. And you have malicious intentions. Your intentions was never genuine. But you for the community, right? But you're actually against the community. If you really want to get technical, you're actually against the community. You are. It be the thought process for me. How, regardless of your sexual orientation at the end of the day, man or female, and this doesn't have to be per se, it doesn't matter if it's straight or gay, lesbian, it does not matter. A place of business, of your establishment at the end of the day, when you open your doors to the public, you're servicing people. And you need to move a lot more better than what you're doing right now. You do. Because disrespecting the consumer wasn't part of the plan. When you decide to open a business within the community, it be the thought process for me. Especially when someone doesn't have malicious intentions, the innocent person doesn't have malicious intentions, all they're trying to do is get a service. And then you try to play in their face. When it comes to certain barbers, I'm going to be Pacific now because the hater rate is real. The hater rate is so real. How they would sit there and mess up your skin and say at the end of the day, oh, that's just the blade. No, you're doing it on purpose. It's because at the end of the day, when you go to somebody else, they're clean cutting your stuff with no problem. And when someone is speaking up for themselves and you're telling them that the consumer, you're telling them just deal with it, now that's a problem. And why I have a problem with that at the end of the day? Because somebody that can't speak for themselves and someone who can't talk for themselves and stand up for themselves, that's why I have a problem. Because what happens today in society is you have a lot of people out here that are loners and that don't speak up for themselves and don't defend themselves, and they just keep it quiet, and they want to speak up, but they're scared to speak up, and they're scared to go against you. But you're for the community though? Nah, you're not for the community, because you have disabled people out here, elderly people out here that deserve respect. And I say that respectfully. An innocent person, period. They deserve respect. But it's kind of funny how a woman and her child can go into a barbershop, or your regular customer can come into your shop and you treat them like royalty. You treat them like royalty. It be the thought process for me. Either is a discrimination going on. That's the most disgusting part, the discrimination. The discrimination is disgusting. Regardless what culture you are, it don't matter. To hear the disrespect within the disrespect, it doesn't make any sense. Because the way somebody dress, you disrespect them when they come into your place of business. We all are human. And I say this respectfully because everybody has their time in their life where they need to sit down and reevaluate their thought process and get back on their feet. Either they homeless. And I say that respectfully. The disrespect that y'all do when these consumers come into your place of business, and how y'all mistreat them and disrespect them. It doesn't make any sense. And nobody speaks up for these people. They don't. They're innocent just like you. They ain't got malicious intentions. They don't have malicious intentions. They don't. Instead of going against each other, where's the respect and the peace at within the community? Where is it at? You going against your neighbor for what? Like, for real, why are you really going against your neighbor? And this is bigger than a haircut. It really is. It's bigger than a haircut. It's bigger. And nobody understands that it's bigger than a haircut. Because all everybody's doing, not everybody, but majority of the people, what they're doing is they're hurting their neighbor, disrespecting their neighbor with malicious intentions, and allowing their neighbor to feel like they're unworthy of themselves. To allowing their neighbor to feel like it's not a safe place to be. Regardless of your culture, regardless of your sexual orientation, it don't matter. We're supposed to respect each other with no malicious intentions to bring harm towards anyone. It's the thought process for me. We have a generation coming up we're supposed to be leaders. We're supposed to be leaders, showing them how to become a leader, not a follower. It's the thought process for me. You showing them at the end of the day it's okay to disrespect your neighbor. It's not the norm. It's not okay to disrespect your neighbor. That was never part of God's plan. And I say that respectfully. That was never part of God's plan. You go into an establishment to go buy food. You got to worry about the fact that the disrespect be so real because somebody didn't want to show up for their job today. So now they want to fight you. And you're the consumer paying for a service. What you mad for? Ma'am, sir, listen, regardless if I said I messed up on an order or not, you here to do your job. And if you can't understand the pressure of being a customer service representative or whatever job description you are today, that job is not for you working with people. When you a real boss, you got to work with people. And if you cannot work with people, that job is not for you. If you cannot have good communication skills, if you do not have common sense, and if you cannot respect yourself to respect the consumer or respect your neighbor, you should not be working in the public or working with people. And I say that respectfully, and it doesn't matter your job description. And I say that respectfully because there should be no reason why somebody's coming to a place of business and being disrespected and you're intimidated by their energy and they ain't even say nothing to you. Why are you so bothered for? Why are you so bothered for? You go into a restaurant. It may not be your culture descent, but you get that one employee that got so much to say. Very disrespectful about somebody else's culture. And the innocent person just standing there, reevaluating their thought process at the end of the day is, why are you doing this to me? Why are you going against me for a neighbor? I didn't do nothing to you. I just came to get food for a place of business. Like, what happened? This is a service. It's open to the public. This is what I'm saying. It's not about competition when it comes to culture. It's not about competition. It's not about competition. It's not. It's never been about competition. But people made it competition. Who's better? What culture is better? What culture could do this? What culture could do that? If you really ask me, ain't nobody doing their job. Because if anybody was being a leader at the end of the day, we will all be at peace and respecting our neighbor within our community, within our culture, with no malicious intentions to disrespect or to bring harm towards any innocent person or any children. And I say that respectfully. It's the thought process for me. How somebody can judge you because of the clothes you wear. They already got a description as to who you are. And that's not even who you are. They label you a bum. They're labeling you homeless. They're labeling you dirty. They're labeling you delusional. They're labeling you crazy. They're labeling you all these toxic traits that you're not. All because they can't even get in tune with themselves to respect themselves. All because the way you dress. All because the way you carry yourself respectfully. And especially when you didn't have malicious intentions. All you was trying to do was respect your neighbor. And they couldn't get in tune to respect you. It's the thought process for me. How we go against our neighbors. How? How did that happen? How did you allow the enemy to play this long? How did you allow the enemy to allow you to believe this was the norm for so long? How? The enemy allows you to believe that going against your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your neighbor was the norm. Especially when they didn't have malicious intentions to bring harm towards you or disrespect you. That's different. That energy is different. That energy is different. And because you don't know how to love yourself, you allowed trauma, toxicness to be within your family traits. You allow it to continue to elevate. That wasn't part of God's plan. Elevating with trauma and toxic behavior, that was never part of the plan. That's not elevating in a healthy way. That's not. But the enemy allows you to believe that elevating, that elevating that was part of elevating. That was never part of elevating. That was not God's plan. And I say that respectfully. That was never part of God's plan. Excuse me. To understand that regardless of what sexual orientation you are, regardless of what your culture is, respect is a two-way street. And regardless of what establishment you go in, respect is a two-way street. And I say that respectfully. It should be no reason why you walk into an establishment and you're disabled and you ask for help and they're looking at you up and down. They're looking at you up and down like you crazy. You could be walking on crutches, a cane. You could have a cane. You could be in a wheelchair and they're looking at you up and down because you're asking for help. It's a place of business where the doors open to the community. And they saying to you why you can't get it yourself. But then when something falls on you or something happens, then they want to play the victim game. They want to play the manipulation game. And say you caused it on yourself. How? When I asked you for help. And first of all, why are you even looking at me up and down, having third-party conversations with another consumer that's shopping as well about the consumer that's asking you for help? And they got to go to your manager about you. And the manager's not understanding why you just didn't do your job. And then the first thing you're saying is because of the fact that their culture. They're lazy. Who's lazy? Who? Who lazy? It be the thought process for me. You know what's so funny? They say Americans are lazy, right? They say all Americans are lazy. When other cultures look at Americans, the first thing they say is Americans are lazy. Let me tell you something about Americans. A lot of Americans are not lazy. And I say that respectfully because there are a lot of educated, regardless of the color of their skin at the end of the day, well-educated Americans. And I say that respectfully. I say that respectfully. There are a lot of Native Americans that are smart, intelligent, and got common sense. And I say that respectfully. And it doesn't matter of their color of their skin. And I say that respectfully. It be the thought process for me. You already had judgment against your neighbor. You already had in the thought process that you didn't want to help your neighbor. But then when your family member goes into an establishment, you will want somebody to help them. You will want to make sure that their needs are taken care of. Or if you're disabled or you're elderly, when you want somebody to help you, why would you want somebody to overlook you for? Why? Why? Why would you want somebody to overlook you when you're going through life itself? You know what's so disrespectful to hear? How they call people lazy, Americans lazy. How when a person still tries and still try to become their best self version of themselves, it would never mean nothing to your eyes. But when they a child of God, it will forever mean value to something because God allowed them to see their best self vision of themselves, and I say that respectfully. So be careful when you go against your neighbor. And I say that respectfully because there should be no reason why you're going against your neighbor. No reason. And it's crazy the fact that Americans be supporting everybody. We show love to everybody. And then, let me tell you something. This ain't got nothing to do with culture. It really don't. It's just a point that I'm trying to prove why we going against each other. Because what we're not going to do, you're not going to bash me for speaking facts. That's not what we're going to do. Because it's real life stuff going on. Because there should be no reason why either it could be a store, a hospital, whatever establishment, it doesn't matter. Establishment is establishment of a business that's ran, right? Where a consumer can go get service. It should be no reason why you're talking in your language and you think somebody can't understand you. That be the thought process for me. You're sitting there disrespecting somebody because you think they don't know what you're saying. And what you're saying about them is very disrespectful. But you're supposed to be showing up for your job replacement. Wow. You know, it shouldn't matter about your culture. It shouldn't matter about your sexual orientation. It shouldn't matter if you're disabled. It shouldn't matter if you're elderly. It should not matter. We should be at peace with each other. We should not be going against our neighbor for no reason at all. No reason at all. How are we supposed to uplift each other and be at peace in our environment where we live to grow? Being a hater for what? Like, what are you hating on the next person for? Sitting there saying, oh, they got more knowledge than me. They know the books. What do you mean we know the books? You can know the books too. What you mean? It be the thought process for me. How people really sit here and go against their neighbor. I don't like my neighbor because of the fact of how she dress. I don't like the fact that the way my neighbor danced to my music. Of your culture. Now you saying that your neighbor's a follower because they're listening to your culture music. What? Like, hold on. This gotta stop. Like, it gotta stop. You know, majority of people around the world love music. Diverse music. Everybody, majority of people love music. So just because you see somebody dancing in a video or whatever the case may be, and they playing a certain kind of music of your culture, talk about, oh, here they go copying our culture. Wait, what? Copying what? What do you mean? Ain't nobody copying nothing. They're just dancing. Why they can't dance? It's a rhythm. It's a beat. It's the thought process for me. Ain't no competition at the end of the day. Oh, she not doing it right. She not trying to do it like you. It's the thought process for me. She just trying to dance. He just trying to dance. They moving with the rhythm. It be the thought process for me. Or this is sick. Like, I don't understand it. Like, the enemy is real. The enemy's too real out here. Like, the enemy's really real. The enemy is too real. How can we be in a world and be against each other? Not everybody. How can you actually say that, you know, I want the violence to stop and mean what you're saying, say what you mean? Just because you're not the one that's doing the violence in your household, I'm not saying you. I'm just saying at the end of the day, when you want to be safe, when you and your family come out the door, wherever they at, traveling across the world, traveling from state to state, wherever you at, when you want to be in an environment where it's safe, when you want to be in an environment where you don't have to worry about people going against each other, it don't matter who they are to go against you. Because now what happens is when violence starts, right? When violence starts, right? The day it occurs, whenever it occurs, within whatever day, and it happens in your neighborhood, and it happens too close to home. Sometimes you have to wake up and say to yourself is, when is enough going to be enough? It don't matter what culture you are. It don't matter. When can I finally live at peace with myself and be at peace, not just be at peace, but know when I'm at peace, but I can open my door and actually be at peace within my community. I could open the door and say, you know what? Woo! Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't have to worry about violence. I don't have to worry about domestic violence. I don't have to worry about criminals hurting each other. All of this toxic stuff. All the toxic behavior within the toxic behavior of the traits that they said that was the norm to go against your neighbor, regardless of what culture you are. Regardless. Regardless of what culture you are. And I say that respectfully. Because there should be no reason, regardless of what culture you are, why are you going against your neighbor? Why are you so mad at your neighbor? They allowed you to be mad at your neighbor. God did not install that within you. God did not install within you to go against your neighbor. God did not install that within you. And I say that respectfully. No, not everybody's the same when it comes to being intimidated by their neighbor or their neighbor, how their neighbor dress and all that. No, it don't bother certain people because a lot of people don't care. But to the ones that have the malicious intentions, the ones that go against their neighbor, the ones who don't stand up and speak up when it's time to speak up, to stop it. Like when does it make sense for change to actually happen? When growth actually is something that you can actually say, you know what? I see change happening around my community for all the right reasons. I was being ignorant at the time to go against my neighbor. Me and my neighbor actually get along. Me and my neighbor don't gotta sleep together, go in the same household, whatever the case may be. But I actually get along with my neighbor. I can actually greet my neighbor and keep it pushing. You know, greet your neighbor, keep it pushing. Not hurt your neighbor and keep it pushing. That energy's different. Now you're walking around in fear for your life, wondering when is a day that it may happen to you where you're gonna get in a crossfire, or not in a crossfire. Something just happens and your neighbor had participation in it. And it could have been stopped. It could have been prevented. And I say this respectfully. When do we say enough is enough? Stop the violence. Stop the discrimination. It should be no reason why you live in a diverse neighborhood, right? You live in a diverse neighborhood. And you go into a store. And nobody in the store speaks English. Nobody. No, you're not a racist person. But nobody in the store speaks English but the manager. So you're asking for help. And they're standing there calling you crazy because you're asking for help. You know how that feels? To be discriminated against in your own community? You know how that feels to be elderly or disabled? Or just to have a moment in your life where you have to sit down and reevaluate yourself because you're sick and you need to get yourself together, but you're still trying and you don't have support? Or if you do have support and you're one of those type of people that you don't like nobody doing nothing for you? And you go into an environment and they tell you, because they see you with crunches or on wheelchair, whatever they see you as being disabled and elderly, whatever the case may be, they say to you is, why you don't got somebody with you helping you? What? First you was just saying I'm lazy. First you was just saying that I'm this and I'm that. Now you asking me why I don't got nobody with me. Like, ma'am, sir, make it make sense. Why? Because I'm asking for help to reach something on a high shelf? It be the thought process for me. Don't wait till it's time till something happens to you for you to understand at the end of the day, life happens to all of us. And I say that respectfully. It gets discouraging for a genuine person that wants to show for themselves, and they trying, and they understand that, they understand a temporary situation, or even if it's not a temporary situation, a person who still just wants to get up on an everyday basis of their life, and want to elevate, and they just want to go shop, and they want to do this, they want to do that. They still want to enjoy life. They should not be stopped at the door and told that they can't shop somewhere or they can't do something, and they trying to spend money somewhere. They're being discriminated against. Why? Why are they being discriminated against? You wouldn't want somebody to do that to your relative. You wouldn't want nobody to do that to your relative. And I say that respectfully because within the community itself, and especially it don't matter where it is. You get your regular people, and you know who your regular people are, right? Sometimes when a new person moves into a certain environment, a new environment at the end of the day, right? It's not about getting familiar with that face. It's called respect at the end of the day. A consumer is coming to purchase something. It should be no reason why a consumer goes into the store and the customer service is disrespecting the consumer, telling the consumer, you got an attitude today? What's your problem? You got an attitude with me? You trying to fight? Like, stuff like that. Like, I'm not understanding in the consumer point of view at the end of the day, they never said anything to this person in no shape or form. And then the first thing they do is manipulate the consumer's description as who they're not, just so they can save their job, because they're wrong for what they're doing. Or just like this, a consumer calls the store before they actually go to the store. They may be disabled. They may not be disabled. They may be elderly. They may not be. They call the store a time ahead. Hey, do you have this in the store? They get a phone call. They call the store. The store says no. The consumer saying to themselves is, something ain't right. So the consumer goes to the store, and whatever they was asking for was within the store. It's like, I'm not understanding. It's either you're going to do your job or not do your job. It's like, I'm understanding y'all open a place for business, right? A place for business where you're supposed to be working at. Regardless if it's not your establishment or not, you're still on somebody's payroll. And because you're on somebody's payroll at the end of the day, you got to make it make sense at the end of the day. Because the only person face you playing at the end of the day is your own face. And I say that respectfully. Because disrespecting the consumer at the end of the day, that's why they say consumers is always right. And y'all don't understand why consumers is always right. Sometimes you do have those consumers that be doing the most. But then you have the genuine ones that don't go into the store and cause confrontation. They just go into the store to respect their neighbor. Or then you have the ones who, when you go into the store as the consumer, you go to ask for help in a certain department, and the manager of the department going to say, who do you think you are? Why? Because I'm asking for help? Why are you disrespecting me for? All I'm doing is asking for help. Would you wouldn't want nobody do that to your family member? So I don't got time for you today. Somebody that's disabled, somebody that's elderly, that's how you talking to them? And they didn't disrespect you in no shape or form? Who do you think whose is? Like, it be the thought process. It be certain words, like, people don't understand that can cost you your job. It can cost you your job when you disrespect a consumer. And you're supposed to be for the community. But then you pick who you want to pick on, and then you manipulate the person. And then you want to play victim because the truth just exposed what it really was. The truth. It should be no reason why, regardless of your culture, the color of your skin, your sexual orientation, you're elderly or disabled or not, when you go into a place of business, you're supposed to be treated with respect. And I say that respectfully. It should be no reason why domestic violence should be the high rates they are. Like, it should be no reason why. No reason. No reason. You know, domestic violence is something not to play with. It really isn't. It's getting more out of hand every single day. It's either men and men, women and women, woman and man, man and woman. It don't matter about it don't matter about the culture. It don't matter about the sexual orientation no more. It don't matter about that. It don't matter. Because it's happening too much. Neighbor, when is it going to stop? Because whatever trauma you endured as a child, and I say this respectfully, you know, people love to scream that they're grown all day, right? I'm grown, I'm grown, I'm grown, I'm grown. But out here acting their shoe size, not their body size. When it comes to true love, and I say this respectfully, true love don't have a hand problem. True love is not controlling somebody, manipulating them, allowing them to believe that they're unworthy of themselves, allowing them to believe that they're not supposed to be around their family. That's not true love. Controlling somebody, that is not true love. Having a hand problem, that is not true love. And whatever you experienced as a child, I'm sorry you had to experience that. But what I'm telling you today, at the end of the day, there are a lot of people who had a messed up childhood, and they know how to respect themselves and others around them, and they know how to be in a healthy relationship. So, for you to have an excuse as to why you do what you do, because nobody loves you, your upbringing, this is what you saw as your upbringing, nah. Let me tell you something. If you can sit here and spit game to a man and a female, or whoever, whatever sexual orientation they are at the end of the day, if you can sit here and spit game trying to holler at somebody at the end of the day, you're supposed to have common sense to know at the end of the day how to respect a king and a queen. And I say that respectfully. It should be no reason why you entertaining a relationship or try to entertain somebody to be psyching them out their thought process, on their freedom or their pockets or their eyesight at the end of the day because you got malicious intentions. And I say that respectfully. It don't matter about your culture, it don't matter about your sexual orientation, and it don't matter about your race. If you're disabled or elderly, it don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter. You should not be out here entertaining nobody. Nobody at all. And I say that respectfully. You shouldn't be entertaining nobody. You shouldn't be in no relationship at all. Because you have a problem. And you know you have a problem. You know you have a problem before anybody else knows you have a problem. And I say that respectfully. So that means you was plotting the whole entire time. You was plotting. You don't just wake up like that. You've been plotting. You've been plotting. Just to get them to where you want them. And it's so sad and disgusting to see that people prey on people who are in situations like this, who don't have family, who are real life loners, who have family problems, who don't know what love is, or had a messed up upbringing. You prey on people like that so you can control them. To psych them out their thought process, let on their freedom, their pockets, their eyesight at the end of the day because you want to control them. You don't control nobody. I don't care if you're a female, male, female, male. It don't matter. It does not matter. It does not matter. It don't. It really don't matter. Like when is enough going to be enough? Like when is enough going to be enough? Like ma'am, sir, like make it make sense. Because it should be no reason why people come up missing. People can't get in contact with their family members weeks and months at a time. Because you was plotting this whole entire time. You a hater, jealous. People be jealous of people's upbringing. People be jealous of how people carry themselves. People be jealous, envious. It's disgusting How could you possibly say you love somebody and be jealous of them? I never understood it. I couldn't sit here and say I love you and be jealous of you. I couldn't sit here and say I love you and I have malicious intentions towards you. That's only playing in my own face. That's disgusting. How could you actually look at yourself and say that you was in love with somebody that you was jealous of? That was never love. You didn't have good intentions at all. That was never love. That was something that you was dealing with personally within that you didn't know how to shake off, to get in tune with yourself, to respect yourself, and to respect the innocent person. And I say that respectfully. It should be no reason why you in a relationship with somebody and you sleeping with them, having sexual acts with them and all that, fake gaslight smiles with them and stuff, and you jealous of them. You intimidated by them. You intimidated because they got it going on. You intimidated the fact that because they know how to make money. You intimidated because of the fact that they have an actual, they thought process can actually work. If you actually took time to yourself and actually saw what you had in front of you, you would know how to value it. But you don't know how to value somebody. To anybody that's dealing with domestic violence today, that's in a situation, you're not alone. You're not. But it's unhealthy. It's very unhealthy. It causes you to get more sick than what you are today. And I say that respectfully. If you allow yourself to continue to be in that situation, and why I say what I'm saying to you today is the fact that you have headaches right now, right? You have depression right now, right? You're having anxiety. You're having bad sleeping patterns. Just because of what you're experiencing right now, those mild symptoms, they become bigger symptoms within your body. Your body starts to break down. And I say that respectfully. I'm not here to go against my neighbor with no words. I'm only showing you guys at the end of the day, we need to respect ourselves to respect each other. When is change going to actually make sense at the end of the day? And stop the violence. Stop going against each other. Where's the respect at? Where's the peace at? You know, like I said, everybody says it all the time. It takes a village to raise a child. But what happened to the community? What happened to the community? It's communities going against your neighbor. It takes a community of neighbors to respect each other, to genuinely be at peace. Mixing the both together would not make sense. This is why it's what's going on today. Mixing the two together. Allowing certain things to, allowing to believe that it's the norm. When we should be on the same page, understanding to respect each other with no malicious intentions. I'm not here to harm you. I'm not here to bring malicious intentions towards you and your family. But I know how to respect myself to stay in my lane and elevate because it was part of God's plan. And I say that respectfully. Regardless to, at the end of the day, how you feel about my sexual orientation at the end of the day. I'm not here to go against you or your family. I'm not here to have malicious intentions to hurt myself or malicious intentions to hurt anybody around me. And I say that respectfully. It's a thought process for me. It should be no reason why we're going against each other. No reason at all. It should be no reason why. No reason at all. No reason. Hurting each other. Why? Domestic violence doesn't have a name on it. And I say that respectfully. It doesn't matter what your sexual orientation is. It's getting disgusting. It's getting disgusting. Females harming men. Men harming women. Women harming women. Men harming men. Come on. Where's the maturity at? Where's the leaders at? Like, where's the real leaders at? Like, it's not making sense at the end of the day. It's not making sense. It's not. Because if it was making sense at the end of the day, the violence would have been stopped a long time ago. Leader. You're a leader, right? You say you're a leader. The violence would have been stopped. But majority of the leaders today that God sees, and I say this respectfully because this is only what God says. What God saw, what God saw. When God sees, what God sees. And what God saw is what God saw. When third-party conversations will happen within third-party conversations, when it comes to a reaction of your response to what goes on in your life, for you to show for yourself today, you say you're a leader. It should be no reason why the generation that's coming up right now, right? You know, the influence of the music. That's where they say it's coming from. But majority of the people don't even listen to half of the music that's being played today. It's a lot of people in this world. And I say this respectfully. It's a lot of people in this world. It is. And there's a lot of people who don't listen to music. So where's the other half of the people at that's helping the other people and that has actually meaning what they say and they saying what they mean to stop the violence? Because every time God says God turns around, God says, why is it the fact that a child is being harmed coming out their house? Why is somebody's baby being hurt? Why so much neglect when it comes to children? Why is nobody speaking up? Where's the why is the violence and the violence within the violence the norm? Where's the stop the violence signs at? Where's the stop the violence signs? That's not the norm. It's not the norm signs. Where's that at? It's not the norm. It's not the norm. It's not the norm. It's not the norm to go against your neighbor. It's not the norm. It's not the norm. It's not. It's not. Regardless of your culture, your sexual orientation, it don't matter. It don't matter. Sitting here saying you're a leader at the end of the day, right? But then you're the same one that goes against your community. How can you possibly be a leader if you're going against your community? How can you possibly be for your community if you're going against your community? It won't make sense. And then the leaders that they say that are leaders, like, it'd be the thought process for me. How those leaders manipulate the situation, say they're gonna do something, and don't do it. Like, when is it finally gonna be a time when somebody mean what they say and say what they mean and be true to themselves without fake gaslighting people? So we can live in a world to be at peace and respect each other and understand that respect goes a long way instead of going against our neighbors. It should be no reason why you go into an establishment and you're being discriminated against. It should be no reason why, regardless of your culture. It don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter. It shouldn't matter. Especially when someone doesn't have malicious intentions to bring harm towards you and others around you. And I say that respectfully. It shouldn't matter. When somebody don't have malicious intentions to bring harm towards themselves or others around them, it's like, why you can't respect the person for who they are? You ain't gotta like them. They don't like you either. They don't like you like that on that level. But they know how to respect you. And I mean, they don't like you like that, like you, like they trying to date you or something like that. That's what I mean. Because it be the thought process of me. You ain't gotta date your neighbor. You to respect your neighbor. You ain't gotta go home with your neighbor to respect your neighbor. It be the thought process for me. It should be no reason why you going to take care of business and You showing up for yourself. Good day, bad day, misunderstanding day within your thought process, and you just trying to come out your comfort zone, and you trying to come out of a depression, or you trying to come out of anxiety and whatever you dealing with within your life, and you go into an environment and it causes you to have a panic attack. It causes you to have anxiety because of the fact that the service that you're getting, because they disrespected you, because they played a discrimination card on you. You know how that feels. I'm pretty sure a lot of you know how that feels. Because I'm pretty sure everybody, just about somebody or within your family, has experienced some type of discrimination going into a place of business. You know, the violence, the violence gotta stop. Discrimination, it needs to stop. It really do. It really do. Because at the end of the day, nobody's better than the next person if we all supposed to be elevating, becoming our best self visions of ourselves. And I say that respectfully. We all supposed to be becoming our best self visions of ourselves and not going against each other. That's the problem with society today, that it's the norm that to go against your neighbor. It's the norm. So because it's the norm, people feel like it's the right thing to do, when it never was the right thing to do from the beginning. You intimidated, jealous by your neighbor because of the fact that the way they dress, the way they do their hair, who she thinks she is, who he think he is. They think because they got that fly car, they think they better than somebody. Like it be the thought process of me. The same way they getting, you could get it too. You just gotta apply pressure the same way they apply pressure. They ain't do it the legal way. They didn't have to scam get to where they at today. They didn't have to do nothing illegal. They didn't have to do nothing to be in that crossfire when it comes to toxic and all that trauma stuff. Like they didn't have to do all of that. They was just elevating, becoming their best self vision, and they did it by the book, and they did it right. And you're just being a hater. What's the point of being a hater for? It ain't gonna get you but so long. Go get you but so far. And long in life, like it's not. It's not. It's not. Because then you start to have malicious intentions, want to line somebody up, and all of this toxic behavior. Like, why? Why? Why you want to hurt an innocent person for? That ain't even bothering you. You're supposed to be showing the generations that's to come how to be mature, how to be respectful, how to be in the world at peace. And all you hearing is how to hurt somebody, how to disrespect somebody, how to line somebody up. Like, why is this the norm? Why is this the norm? Because if you really gonna get technical, it's bigger than the music thing. I don't care what nobody say. It's bigger than the music. It is. If you really know, it really is. Because if you when you know, you know, you know, you know. Because when you a leader, that music stuff wouldn't matter to you. Because the violence rate will go down if you was doing your job within your community. All you hear is people saying, well, they don't listen, they don't listen, they don't listen. These kids nowadays, they don't listen, they don't listen. They don't listen to who? It'd be the thought process for me. These people out here need love. These people out here need respect. These people out here to show them that nobody gonna give up on them. These people out here need somebody to show them at the end of the day, like, listen, you are worthy. You are more than what you are. You are somebody. And when it's not genuine, of course they're not gonna hear you. because it ain't genuine. And they not gonna listen to somebody. I'm gonna say something like this. They not gonna listen to you because you ain't doing what you need to do in your life. And they see right through you. And because they see right through you, of course they're not gonna listen to you. And I say that respectfully. They're not gonna listen to you. It don't take a rocket science to figure that out. They not. They're not. Because if you was genuine and you was doing what you need to do on your behalf to be a leader at the end of the day, they will respect you for who you truly are. And they will understand at the end of the day, like, you know what? I gotta get on my stuff too. Because as soon as that they see that, how could you, it's like this, right? You saying that you want to help the community when it comes to the generation that's coming up, right? And you have an alcoholism problem, right? And you trying to get yourself together. How could you possibly tell somebody at the end of the day that they need to stop drinking, but you're drinking? Or how could you possibly tell somebody that they need to stop drinking, but you keep having relapses after relapse? They're not going to take you serious as you taking yourself serious, because you're not taking yourself serious. And I say that respectfully. Because they're going to look at you like you're the joke. Like, how you trying to help me, but you can't help yourself? Nah, for real. It's true. You can debate all day long if you want to. Like, you be debating by yourself. That's all I'm going to say. It's the thought process for me. Like I said, my content is not for everybody, and that's okay. And it's not that I go all over the place in the day, but I just speak what's on my mind. I just speak what's on my mind, and because I speak what's on my mind, I'm different and I'm unique, and that's not a problem. To be yourself, that's the problem with people today, not being themselves, or they don't know how to express themselves, or if they don't know how to express themselves, they don't know how to say it. They don't know how to say it in words where it's going to make sense to the next person that they're trying to get the attention from, or that they want to actually hear them out. That's the problem with society today too, is the interpreting side. I can interpret something to you today. Maybe two people will understand what I'm saying. You'd be very surprised. Because not everybody is on the same level when it comes to interpretation. How you interpret certain things, not everybody's going to understand you, and that's okay. But what's for you will be for you, and I say that respectfully, because not everybody's for you, and it's okay. Like, everybody talks a certain kind of way. Some people got high pitches. Some people talk a certain kind of way, and that's their norm, how they talk. But at the same time, too, we gotta respect our neighbor. And there's a certain way to correct our neighbor when we speak to our neighbor, so they can know. Because if they don't know, they won't never know. It's not that you're bashing your neighbor for how they talk. It's letting them know, like, look, I want to work with you. I want to be on the same page with you. I want to be able to understand you. But for me to be able to understand you, I got to actually understand you. And they have to be comfortable to understand that where you're coming from and not disrespect them. That's not being disrespect as to what you're saying, because 9 out of 10, they will take your energy. Some people will take your energy as you're being disrespectful because of the way they talk. And I say that respectfully. Or some people just don't want to be bothered because they already feel like they're going to be judged because they opening their mouth. Oh, another thing. Domestic violence. I want to touch base back on that real quick. You know, just because you saw your parents' upbringing and you thought that was the norm of someone disrespecting you and controlling you, or you never had the proper guidance when you was being brought up, and nobody ever showed you love, or, you know, somebody may have overlooked you, or you didn't understand love and certain things you lacked in your life when it came to certain things as to your upbringing. And because it was a lack of education wise when it came to certain things in your life, for you showing up for yourself today, you don't know what love is. And you don't know what respect is because you're so used to people showing you otherwise and you thought it was the norm. Listen, man or female, it don't matter. Because of your upbringing, you cannot have excuses as to why you need to be mistreated. And I say this respectfully. It should be no reason why you have an excuse why somebody should disrespect you and make you feel unworthy of yourself or make you feel like you need to be stuck in a situation where you can actually become your best self version of yourself when you come out of that delusion, because it is a delusion. It is. It's their delusion. And I say that respectfully because they got you on some spell work or something. It must be something. Because love is not supposed to hurt. It's not supposed to hurt. True love is not supposed to hurt you. True love is not supposed to make you feel like somebody punching you in your face, giving you black eyes is love. That's not love. It's somebody running back to you, telling you that they're sorry multiple times and continue constantly doing the same thing. That's not love. Because what's going to happen next is somebody going to psych you out your freedom. That you cannot reevaluate your thought process ever again. You may have kids. You may not have kids. But if you do have kids, please find help today. Your babies do not deserve that. Or if you're a single person and you're going through the same thing, get out of that situation. You do not deserve to be disrespected. That is not love. You're taking the love away from yourself, that you can actually love yourself, to grow to love yourself in the most healthiest way that you least expected. You could. That same energy that you're putting in you thinking that you're putting into somebody that doesn't see your value, you can put that love into yourself, to respect yourself, to honor yourself, to show yourself that you are worthy. Because somebody overlooked you. Somebody didn't understand how to value your time. But choosing you will become your blessing in disguise when you least expect it, when you're being patient with your process. Because you are worthy and you do matter. You matter, you matter, you matter. You matter. I understand we're in a society today where it's so cold outside. Where you feel like nobody cares about you. You feel like you don't know where to turn. You done burnt bridges with your family members. They done looked over you. They done said that you're not worthy of yourself. They done said you stupid. You keep going back to the same person. They done said all this toxic stuff about you. It's time to put you first. It's time to put you first. It is. If ain't nobody gonna put you first, you gotta put you first. God already put you first. God chose you. Because God chose you to see another day. The good God. The one that wants you to become your best self version of yourself. The one that will guide you out of that situation. The one that will love you. The one that will show you love. The one that will protect you. The one that will guide you to better days ahead. Believe in yourself. Have faith. Have faith. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be a walk in the park. It's not. It's not. But somebody that has a hand problem or wants to control you, they did it the first time, they're going to do it again. After the second time, enough is enough. The first time was enough. The first time was more than enough. The sorry, when somebody say they sorry, they mean what they say and they say what they mean. And they man up to it and they woman up to it, that they would never do it again after the first time. Because the second time, they don't care about you. That's not love. Because what happens now is that you're showing them that you're just their punching bag. And they can hurt you whenever they feel like it. And you're nobody's punching bag. You're nobody's punching bag. And I don't care about your sexual orientation. I don't care about your culture. I don't care if you're elderly, disabled, I do not care. You are not worthy of someone disrespecting you. You are not. You're not. That's not love. That is not love. That's abuse. That's abuse. And you know it becomes more traumatizing with these type of situations, and I'm gonna say this respectfully. It's because when 99, 9910, y'all know the roll number, gets called, and they see the same address getting called. You know what I realized about life when it comes to these type of environment situations? The police take their time. An advocate takes their time to get to you. Because police been called so many times, neighbors done called so many times. Now that call is getting overlooked because you didn't walk away. And before it's too late for somebody to psych you out your freedom, walk away. Walk away. Walk away. You deserve that much for yourself. You deserve that much for your children. You deserve to actually love your children the way you're supposed to love your children, like a mother's supposed to love her children, the healthy way. You're not even showing up for yourself the way you're supposed to show up for yourself to actually love your children. You could barely protect your children. Allowing yourself to be put in these type of situations. And I say this respectfully, because you're not deserving of that. Regardless if you're a man or a female. Nobody's supposed to be hitting you like a punching bag. Nobody's supposed to be allowing you to feel like you're unworthy of yourself. Nobody. 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 It don't matter if your culture is your culture, the color of your skin. It don't matter. Your sexual orientation, it don't matter. Nobody deserves that. Nobody does. Nobody deserves to come out their comfort zone and talk to somebody and start the dating scene, and they've been through enough in their life, and let me come out my comfort zone and start talking to somebody. Get meet a new friend or something, just to reevaluate your thought process. You walked in right into your enemy. You walked right into your enemy. Somebody that doesn't even love themselves. When you walk away, walk away. When they call you and tell you they in the hospital, when they call you and tell you they had a family emergency, when they call you and tell you somebody passed away, listen, keep it pushing. It's a booby trap. It's a booby trap. It's a booby trap. If somebody could sit here and punch your face in the way they do, and not allow you to show up for yourself to go to work, or not allow yourself to show up to go to your kid's school, that's not love. And they don't deserve your time and day. Because you deserve more than that. And I say that respectfully. I say that respectfully. Domestic violence is something not to play with. It's not. It's not a joke. It's nothing funny about it. And for people to make jokes out of it, it's not funny. I don't see nothing funny, amusing about someone getting beat up. Regardless of what their sexual orientation is, there's nothing funny about it. You have some people in some situations that don't fight back. Then you have some people who don't fight back because they're so tired of fighting. Domestic violence is not the way. It's not the way. It's not. It's not. It's not healthy at all. It's not healthy. Never judge a book by its cover, and I say that respectfully. The most decent person you can see walking in the streets. That lawyer, that doctor, You'd be so surprised, too, to know at the end of the day they're getting punched around. And they hiding it really well. That lawyer, that doctor, that physician, that caseworker, that mother that just dropped her child off to school, that lady in the pharmacy, that man in the pharmacy, that doctor, it doesn't matter. You'd be so surprised. People stay in situations for so long thinking it's the norm. It's not the norm. Allowing someone to abuse you, control you. It's okay to start all over. It's not the end of the world. It's not. And I'm gonna be honest with you, sometimes starting all over may be the best start for you. And I say that respectfully. You may feel scared walking away, but when you're in a safe spot, better days are to come. Better days are ahead. I hope that whoever this is for, as this is on my heart real heavy right now. Whoever I'm talking to personally, if this is you, just know that when you look at your reflection in the mirror today, or look at your reflection of yourself, you see how strong you're standing right now before yourself? You know, everybody else overlooked you. They did. They probably did. They gave up on you. They didn't take the time to get to know you. They allowed you to feel like you wasn't worthy of yourself. They told you to be quiet when you try to speak up for yourself. They didn't want you to talk. You never knew what love was. And because you didn't know what love was, as you're looking at your reflection of yourself, you're saying to yourself is, how do I put myself first? How do I love to grow to love myself? This is not okay. I don't want this to be okay anymore. Because I want to put myself first. I may be scared right now today. I may not know where I'm going. You never got a handbook when you was born into this world. You wasn't given a handbook. You wasn't given a handbook as to how to be in a relationship with somebody. Or you wasn't given a handbook when it comes to knowing your self-worth. Everything you had to do, you had to figure it out on your own. And because you had to figure it out on your own, you thought it was the norm that what you was experiencing after relationship or seeing was the norm, and it never was the norm. It was never the norm. It was never the norm. But as you look at your reflection in the mirror, it's okay to tell yourself you love yourself. It's okay to tell yourself I acknowledge myself today. It's okay to say I want to be the best self-version of myself moving forward. It's okay to acknowledge yourself every single day moving forward in a healthy way. It's okay. It's okay to cry. You're not weak when you cry. You're not a punk when you cry. Whatever words you feel like you want to beat yourself up with, or have anybody look at you when you cry. You don't want nobody to see you weak. It's not about being weak at the end of the day. It's about finding balance within yourself. Getting in tune with yourself to love yourself. To know that, that there are better days ahead. Allow yourself to become a believer. Because you are worthy and you do matter. You matter. You matter. You matter. It's okay to say I matter. It's okay to say it's time for me to come out of my comfort zone. It's okay for me to acknowledge myself today. It's okay for me to say I love myself. It's okay. It's okay to say I want better for myself. It's okay. And it's okay to walk away and start all over. Because you mean so much to God. Because God allows you to see another day. And God just wants you to reach out to God and reach out to him and say that, you know, I'm alive still. I'm still alive. Because God is still patient with you because you are the miracle within yourself. But because you have not reached out to God yet, God can't help you if you haven't reached out. And I say that respectfully. Reach out to God. Because God got your back. Reach out to God. Reach out to God. The good God, not the enemy God. No. Not the enemy. The good God. The good God that's going to allow you to become your best self vision of yourself. The good God that's going to show you there are better days ahead because you're choosing your best self vision of yourself to show up. It's not going to be easy when it comes to healing. It's not. It would never be a walk in the park when it comes to healing because you're going to forever heal. But you gotta mean what you say and say what you mean to be true to yourself. And you can't have one foot in one door, one foot in the other door. It would never make sense. It won't. It would never make sense. You can't wear a mask to try to tune into yourself and thinking it's gonna work. It's not gonna work. Because when you look at your reflection of yourself, you can't play in your own face. You can't. And I say that respectfully. When it comes to trauma healing, it's not gonna be easy. You gotta mean what you say and say what you mean. With change comes growth, with growth comes true self-awareness. You know, these tools God is stored within us. Self-awareness, genuine self-awareness, self-respect, self-peace, self-healing, self-control, self-discipline, self-confidence, self-care, self-value, self-love, self-worth, self-patience, and healthy boundaries to elevate to become your best self-vision of yourself. They don't understand how you're going to elevate. They're not going to understand it when you start to pull through. You know, them family members that overlooked you, or them fake friends that overlooked you and all that. Or that person that said that you was never gonna find true love, or that person that said that you would never leave their side and you would never get over them. God got better in store for you. And I say that respectfully. To better days ahead to you. And I mean that. I hope God protects you when it comes to your safety and guides you to better days ahead. I really mean that genuinely from my heart. I really do. Because you deserve it. You do. You deserve to choose yourself first, and you deserve to be at peace with yourself, and you deserve to be happy within. You deserve to live a happy, joyful, peaceful life. A healthy life. You do. You do. You matter. You truly matter. Giving up on yourself was never part of God's plan. Having balance to understand that with change comes growth. Understanding your worth. Overcoming your trauma and your pain. When the prayer works. Understanding that the enemy doesn't live here today. Protect your energy, because God got your back to better days ahead. Yeah, they may overlook you, but God never overlooked you. God never abandoned you. God was being patient with your process. Tune in. God's channeling you. God wants you to know at the end of the day, God got your back to better days ahead. God's channel to you. Tune into God's channel, because God got your back. I say that respectfully. God got your back. God got your back. When you tune into God's channel at the end of the day, when you find who you really want to be in tune with when it comes to God's channel, you'll find your best self vision of yourself in the most healthiest way. But there's a good God and there's a bad God. So be mindful what channel you turn in today. Be mindful what channel you tune in today. And I say that respectfully. Because there's a good God and there's a bad God. So be mindful when you pick a side. And I say that respectfully. Because it's the enemy of a God, and it's the God that loves you, that would never allow you to feel that you're unworthy. The God that would show you that there are better days ahead. The God that would show you love. The God that would not go against you. That will forever be true to you. With no malicious intentions. It's like you watch your thought parts thrown in your pockets or your eyesight at the end of the day. Good God don't do that. But the bad God, they do that all day. And I say that respectfully. But just know that you're not alone. You're not. You're not alone. You're not alone. You're not alone. I'm about to wrap this video up. It's been real. I'll be going live tomorrow. I appreciate the genuine one's time. You know, it's time for change. It really is. It's time for change. Instead of going against the neighbors and where's the peace and the respect at? Respect is a two-way street. You ain't gotta go home and sleep with your neighbor. Not saying that. And whatever's your personal business ain't got nothing to do with me. Hello? But at the same time, too, it's called respect. And respect goes a long way. It does. Stop the violence, stop the violence, stop the violence. Stop the violence. God said that was never part of God's plan. Never. That was never part of God's plan. That was the enemy's work. And sometimes in life, you become your biggest enemy. You'd be very surprised. But at the same time, too, God said there are better days ahead. When you know, you know. Now you genuine love, respect. Protect your energy, because not everybody's having your time. Love yourself, with God's protection for every direction. Love yourself, love yourself. Love yourself, with God's protection for every direction. Love yourself, love yourself. Just because someone gave up on you, don't give up on yourself. Just because someone overlooked you, don't give up on yourself. You are genuinely loved by all the right people. You are genuinely respected by all the right people. And you deserve to be treated with respect. 365 days with no malicious intentions to bring harm towards yourself and others around you. Protect your energy, because not everybody is deserving of your time. You know, they would sit here and fake gaslight you and act like they so in tune with God. And the whole entire time they got malicious intentions. So protect your energy, because not everybody mean what they say what they mean, that they're truly in tune with God. Protect your energy, because people will sit here and fake gaslight you, act like they so in tune with God just to play you close. Protect your energy. Not everybody is deserving of your time. They would sit here and psych you out your thought process, your freedom, your pockets, and your eyesight, and they don't have malicious they have malicious intentions. God did not install within us to give up, live in fear, or be discouraged. God installed patience within us so we could become our best self visions of ourselves, to elevate, because God chose us to seal the day for all the right reasons. So continue to elevate and becoming your best self vision of yourself. It's so right that your neighbor doesn't understand that God is working in your favor today. But at the same time, too, you ain't got malicious intentions to bring harm towards yourself and others around you. It's called respect. It's a two-way street. Never judge a book by its cover. Oh, hey, neighbor. Question a child of God is only playing in your own face, and I say that respectfully because you're only questioning God. It's a thought process of me, especially when that child of God doesn't have malicious intentions to bring harm towards you and others around you. They're just trying to elevate and become their best self vision of themselves, and they don't gotta fake gaslight you because God is working in their favor, or let alone fake gaslight you because they genuinely have peace with themselves. It's called respect. It's a thought process of me. Love yourself with God's protection every direction. I truly appreciate time to the genuine ones only. Protection because I raise every time. Have a safe day. Have a safe weekend. Have a safe week in store for you. Love yourself. Love yourself. Later. Here's the thought process of me.